Everybody loves to rank and categorize the conceptual elements of their preferred recreational activities, right?
Right?
Right? Something about a big old top 10 so and so's headline hits the proverbial dopamine receptors like a sock full of quarters. Well, I'm happy to oblige with the first of many, so let's get to it. Have you ever walked away from a game feeling disillusioned or uncertain about the format as a whole? Ever get tired of seeing grave crawler grave crawling? Ever look at a flower and hate it? Let's talk about why. Today we're ranking the top 10 worst win cons in Casual Commander. Starting us off at number 10, we got Infect, aka Stank Mode. Now we all know life is a resource slash currency in EDH, but it's all just monopoly money to an Infect player. A 40-point life total doesn't mean much to a 10-point cumulative kill shot from Skittles or a handful of menacing mites. Probably the worst part is due to the general pacing of the strategy, you'll often find one person slammed out early on, while the other two players assemble enough defenses to prolong the game as they haunt their corner of the table like a phantom limb. The fact that you can die to any infect creature for less than half the damage it takes for a commander to take you out seems like an oversight for functionality in the format, which is why you'll often hear petitions for bumping the infect total to 20 to compensate for the larger life total. This, of course, is a pretty hard sell for anyone playing infect. It's certainly not the worst one on the list, but you can't deny it feels pretty bad to lose to a handful of tiny, unblockable patient zeros. Next up at number 9, we have Drawing the Game. To be honest, I'm not even mad at this one, so long as it's not the result of an uninterruptible infinite loop. I'll put respect on someone doubling down on a Heartless Hitasugo trigger because we all know some men just want to watch the world burn. That being said, I know some people will scoff at a draw slash win, as at times it can feel frustrating to anticipate or prepare against due to its infrequent execution. I don't know. I'm still waiting to see a divine intervention resolve, so perhaps this ranking is subject to change in the future. Don't at me. For number 8, we got Crater Hoof and his Benjamin Button ass baby brother, Moonshaker Cavalry. I was far less critical of this one before they essentially reprinted it in white, and in doing so, drastically increased the saturation of this sloppy strategy. I get the appeal. I've even played the cards myself. Again, don't at me. It just feels like a gotcha card that doesn't breed innovation in deck building or playstyles. These are just two cards that might as well have "You Win the Game" printed on them to spare us all the one person who wants to see the math in combat. At number 7, we've got Impact Trimmers, and Impact Trimmers, and Impact Trimmers, and Impact Trimmers, and Impact Trimmers. I suppose I could reverse the bit and use the 6th slot for Orzhov's Death Pingers, but it's honestly all the same thing to me. If you've seen one triggered ping, then you've seen them all. Moving on to number 6, we have what I like to call Storm Advisory. What do I mean by this? Storm Advisory is what I like to call the process of watching an opponent go through 20-ish minutes of a non-deterministic loop by way of copying and or doubling any number of spells and effects during their turn. I take no personal issue with this approach beyond the long and brutal winters between turns while you wait and watch someone spin their wheels occasionally to no avail. The blind repetition of it all leaves you with little left to do but check your phone and ponder the choices that have led you here. Halfway through at number 5, we've got Exsanguinate. Along with all the other X-rated mana sink spells, Torment of Hailfire, Debt to the Deathless, Walking Ballista, etc., etc. Look, I'm not trying to stop anyone from making their precious mana go infinite. I just wish y'all would do something a little more interesting with it than paying for X. Let's slow things down for number 4 with the infamous asymmetrical Stax Lock. Stasis, baby! Full transparency, I have toyed with Stax here and there over the years. And though I certainly enjoyed playing it, I can categorically report that I've never seen anyone enjoy playing against it. I guess it feels pretty bad to be locked out of the game you're playing. Who would have thought? Number 3 is just Approach of the Second Sun. That's it. It's just Approach of the Second Sun. It's just boring. A lot of cards say you win the game, but this one is just so bland, so plain, so ugh. And good luck dealing with a pillow forter that played it if no one is running blue for counterspells, because you'll end up on a clock, which means not only will you lose, but you'll have to wait to lose. Dumb. Down to number 2, we have the exponentially expanding list of 2-card combos. Painter's Servant plus Grindstone, Sanguine Bond and Exquisite Blood, Helm of Obedience with Leyline of the Void, Walking Ballista, and every other card that combos with Walking Ballista. Most of these are so overdone and commonplace that you know what's coming when the first one drops. If Commander is a format that supposedly thrives on creativity and casual playstyles, please explain to me why I keep seeing Tooth and Nails and Enlightened Tutors grasping for the same cards over and over in a 100-card singleton format. Finally, at number 1, we've got Thassa's Busted Little Oracle. I'm not even including Labman or Jace here. This is just about the stupid fish lady. Talk about a format warping card. Raise your hand if you remember the format before the Oracle dropped. There are, again, many cards that say you win the game, but this one is easily the most egregious and least interesting of them all. Even Labman is visually and conceptually cooler from a flavor perspective. Moreover, the idea of milling yourself out and winning has little, if any, interaction with the other 3 people at the table beyond them trying to stop the process, and thus makes the win feel obscured and difficult to engage with. I know many of you will say, play more interaction, and to that I say, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. The issue for me here isn't losing. I don't mind losing. Statistically, if you're playing with people you consider to be your peers, you should be losing around 75% of the games you're playing. And that's on math. I just want to feel, I don't know, enthusiastic about the way it all shakes out, especially if I'm not the one behind the wheel. But that's all we've got for today. Let us know what you think in the comments. Too harsh? Not harsh enough? Like and subscribe for more lists to dismiss and disregard in your otherwise carefully cultivated social media feeds. Also, smash that comment button if you're about to be present and powerful in Chicago this weekend. I'm calling out each and every complicated cardboard collector to find me in the command zone and wrangle a win from me one time in 2025. Can I get a hell yeah?